Welcome to another edition of All About the Art. This is the All About the Art Sci-Fi edition. So, this piece of work is from a Chinese, it's a scene out of a Chinese novel, a sci-fi novel, a classic Chinese sci-fi novel called Three Body Problem. And the gist of it is there's this planet that has three suns, but the people who live there don't have the technology to do the calculations to figure out where these suns are coming and going, and when there makes chaotic periods and stable periods on this Earth, this place, and but due to the changing gravity pulls of these three suns, it gets super hot, super cold, super crazy tides, whatever. So this is a scene where the rulers or whoever are they've assembled this 30 million man computer, and I'm pretty sure there's not 30 million little actual dots here. It's kind of representation. But I did every single one of these guys with a Sharpie. I don't know, there's probably 10,000 there, but the point is it's a 30 million man computer, and they're doing all these calculations, and I kind of just visualized chunks, and it's whatever the information, I don't know what they're calculating, how they're doing it, but it's all coming through, and they go tell the pyramid people, it's using the humans to act like a manual computer sort of thing. And yeah, it's just one of the images out of the novel that struck me, so I made a painting about it. So this is a scene from the same book, Three Body Problem. So that planet that people lived on is called Trisolarius, and the people that lived there are called Trisolarians. It really didn't describe what they looked like exactly. So this is kind of an interpretation of what they look like. So there's actually three different parts of three different themes from the book. It kind of began with this lady who was working at a observatory on top of a mountain, and when she was shooting the telescope satellite dish, aiming it through the sun was acting as like a gravitational refractory sort of thing that was picking up the message from Trisolarius. That's kind of where it all started. One of the Trisolarians told me they had a problem, so I had this race idea as like a mountain race, but it was kind of like a race. I called it a race for a solution. I'm like, because they were like trying to solve the problem of the three body problem was the whole point of it. So then the Trisolarians over here this one's holding a little balloon. These other ones those are actually expanded protons. The Trisolarians had issues with sending things over such a great distance when they actually were trying to come to Earth. It was going to take them like 450 years or something, human years, but they could send a proton like at light speed. So I don't remember the details of it, but at some point they were sending protons that were encoded they were coming in the 12th dimension or 11th dimension. When they came and they were unfolded down to the 3rd dimension, they expanded like and there's some other things going on. I think there was like protons that they sent to Earth to like spy on the humans, basically. That might have been part 2, the wall facer. Anyway, it's hard to keep track of all these Chinese sci-fi novels. This one was called, it's 3 parts: Race to Solution, Satellite on Hill, Trisolarian with Balloon. Yeah, nice little triptych. What's going on with the sci-fi classics? There's a book called Seven Eves, and this is a scene from that novel. The gist of that novel was basically, it's pretty large. It's huge books, like, I don't know, a couple thousand pages or 1,000 pages or something, and it covers 5,000 years of human history. The gist of it is the moon blows up one day, they don't know why, and the pieces gradually start running at each other, and they start chunkifying and becoming smaller chunks until they start crushing down, smaller until they start to fall out of orbit, and then they fall to Earth. It's going to create a 1,000-year firestorm, basically, as all the particles fall and they superheat, and the Earth gets scorched. So the first third of the book's basically about the preparations for that, all of humanity, and then it moves on to the people that survived out in space, and it carries on for 1,000 years. It's pretty interesting in general, and that's just what this is. It's just a bunch of stuff, the heavy rains they called it, it's falling out of the sky, And you can see this little structure here. This house is on fire, and the heat's getting sucked back into it, and that's like a rolling heat wave just of doom coming. It's kind of apocalyptic. But yeah, the novel is basically all about the apocalypse. Yeah, Seven Eves. Heavy Rain, is that what that's called? Oh, this is one of my favorites. Oh, look at that. It's the cover of this book I wrote, StarLight over David. This is a whole nother thing. So I painted this picture as a scene from out of this book, my own sci-fi novel. What is that? It's a giant digital eyeball sort of zapping these people up on a pyramid. Yeah, I mean, this book's pretty epic. I don't even know where to begin. This cover is also a couple thousand years. But this represents like a Hawaiian legend of like lifting places. As far as spirits getting left behind if they didn't have a proper lifting place to the afterlife. That's one aspect of it. The other is people turning to the digital eye. It's like the technology coming in, just sucking all the people up. Oh, there's little people floating around up in here. And yeah, this whole thing, I'm reading chapters of it, or I'm reading bits of it over on YouTube. And yeah, I'm trying to talk about it more often. There's a lot going on, but I'm not focusing on it right now. We're doing art still. So this is called Eyeball Over Pyramid? I don't remember. I just called cover art. It's the cover art for StarLight over David. Yeah. This little guy, this isn't so much sci-fi related. Well, partly because I was reading that Chinese novel. I read a couple of them, so I was kind of thinking aesthetics, like, I guess Asian aesthetics in terms of art. This is called Coho Fly, because it's just the coho colors for fishing for salmon around here. And it's not always these colors, you can have two colors, but it's kind of a Coho Fly. And this is all in aluminum. I don't know, it could go this way, it could go that way. Definitely not that way, maybe this way. So it's on aluminum, and it's just something that's super clean, super simple. Not a lot behind it, other than it's called Coho Fly. Fishing. If anyone knows fishing, might mean something to them. If you like what you've seen, please hit the subscribe button. Got a bunch more art pieces coming. Got a bunch more short story, non-fiction, and fictional reading coming. And staying busy, trying to stay ahead of this tidal wave coming at you.